Good morning, LoBaggers. Happy Friday. It's your boy Animarak here with some MMA picks. I'm excited to be back. It's been too long. Let's get right into this. I got a hot take for you. This MMA fight card the UFC is putting on Saturday, I think if you blind bet every single underdog on this card, I think you show a profit. These lines are off. These lines are way off the entire card. So I got some big dog lines for you. Let's get into it. I got Marcelo Gom starting the night off. He's a big heavyweight fighter. He's going against another middle-of-the-road type of heavyweight fighter, and you guys know my stance. I almost blind bet it at this point. If you've got two middling heavyweights, anybody can take a nap at any point in time during the fight. I think he's got the speed advantage. Take the plus 135, and let's roll with Marcelo Gom. Next up, we're going to roll with Chris Fishgold taking on Calvin Kattar. Fishgold is 17-1 coming into the UFC. It is his UFC debut, but he's also dropping a weight class. I think he's going to be the bigger, stronger fighter. He's going to bully his opponent, and I just think he's going to be a little too much to handle, and I like him in his UFC debut here. He should be an underdog for his UFC debut, but maybe plus 155, plus 160, plus 230 is about where he's sitting at right now, and that's just way too crazy. Let's take that. Let's roll. Moving on, we've got Ed Short Fuse Herman. Now, I'm a fan of this guy, but he's at the twilight of his career. He is winding down. That's not a lie. He's been dropped by a couple of people recently. He's got chin issues. It's well documented. His opponent, on the other hand, is one of the most uncoachable fighters in the UFC. He does not do what his coaches tell him to, and he's got a very low ring IQ. So if he were to come down, take down Ed Herman, and grind him out for 3 straight rounds, he probably wins an easy decision, and then he's a justified massive favorite in this fight. But he's not going to do that. He's not smart enough to do that. He lost a decision to Smiling Sam Alvey. And just so you guys know, you don't lose decisions to Smiling Sam Alvey. He is one of the most he's one of the most docile UFC fighters. He plods forward, and he looks for one big shot. If it goes to decision, he loses every time. Every time, except for this one. This guy dropped a decision to Sam Alvey. That means he did nothing the entire fight. I know Ed Short Fuse Herman has got some power still. He's moving up to 205. That should resolve some of those chin issues. If these guys fight like two old dogs do and they're a little bit slow with each other, I like Ed Short Fuse Herman for a 3-round decision upset. Let's do it. Let's get that cash. All right, so moving on to the main event. Pete, I know you like Misha Cirkunov. I understand the pick, but he is way overhyped. He rolled into the UFC. He got dropped and taken down a peg not once, but twice. He's riding a 2-fight win streak, and everyone is so high on this guy. I just don't get it. He's shown us that at the top level of competition, he is not that good. The throwing him in against Pat Cummins should be an easy winnable fight. But Pat Cummins is actually the worst stylistic matchup you could possibly get for him. Marcin does not have good striking. He uses his athletic ability to get a hold of guys and then drag them down to the mat, and then he's got a huge advantage once he's on top of you on the ground. Pat Cummins is a crazy good wrestler. He out-wrestled DC back in the day before they got into MMA. He's not going to be on bottom. Pat Cummins has heart for days, and even though he does get clipped by some of the more power strikers in the UFC and has chin issues there, that's not Marcin. I'm sorry, that's not this guy. He does not have that explosive striking power that's going to put a guy like Pat Cummins away. I'm going to take the 350 on the underdog. Now, remember, taking a 350 underdog, I'm not expecting him to win 9 times out of 10. I'm not expecting him to win 10 times out of 10. If he wins 3 times out of 10, I'm making a nice bet. Because plus 350, plus 400, that is a crazy wide line for a fighter that has just not lived up to expectations against a strong wrestler who can grapple you and hump your leg for 3 rounds straight and win a decision. Not kidding. Now, Pete, my boy, my baby boy, I know you're just trying to make your daddy proud and trying to follow in my footsteps, taking the dog money. I raised you right, but don't do it. Volkan Oezdemir is my pick of the video, my play of the day. We are going to take Volkan No Time Oezdemir by KO in this main event. All right, now his opponent, Anthony, he is moving up a weight class after taking out 2 legends of the sport, Rashad Evans and Shogun Rua. Now, both of those guys are at the end of their career. Rashad is already retired. Yeah, he looked good against them. Of course he looked good against them. He's so much bigger than both of them. They're tiny and they're old. No Time Oezdemir, he's probably got the greatest punching power in the UFC right now. Sorry, not the UFC, the light heavyweight division. Now that Anthony Rumble Johnson isn't there, I think Volkan Ozdemir has the strongest punches in the 205 division. And he's only lost to DC. He's run right off of a unsuccessful title shot against DC. I expect him to bounce back, and I expect him to bounce back hard. Volkan Ozdemir by first round KO. Free money, guys. Now, if you're not that into UFC or you just want to watch it and have a little fun, I got a little parlay for you. Take Tay Edwards, who looks like a young Tyrone Woodley. He's minus 500. Take Nasrat. He's the biggest favorite on the card, and for good reason. He's like minus 900 or something like that. It's insane. He's fighting a jobber. That's a steamroll. And then take Volkan Ozdemir. 3-leg parlay should get you about even money. Then you got a couple fights to watch with a little sprinkle on it. Enjoy, guys. Love you all. Let's get that cash. Have a great weekend.